I want to talk to us today about who we are as a kingdom community, about what we do, why we do it, and how we do it. When the Lord spoke to me and my wife about starting this ministry, which we call Final Thrust, He was very clear about what we were going to be sharing and what we were going to be doing. First, He told us who we are. The Lord said, we are to be a new paradigm church that will serve other churches. This was very clear. And you've heard me say this many times. We're to be a new paradigm church that will serve other churches by mobilizing, motivating, equipping, and activating believers to make a final thrust into the end time harvest and make disciples for Jesus. That's where we got the name Final Thrust from. A final thrust is a final rush into the harvest. The harvest are the people that we are among every day. Throughout the Gospels, Jesus kept referring to the harvest. In John's Gospel, chapter 4, He called the disciples and He said to them, lift up your eyes and look at the harvest. It is white and ready. And He said, this is the work that the Father sent me to do. And this is the work that I am sending you to do. Go and reap the harvest. Some other people have sown, have worked, but you are reaping people to eternal life. Those were the words of Jesus in John's Gospel, chapter 4. So we are to be a new paradigm church. The word paradigm is a new way of thinking or doing things that replace the old way of thinking and doing things. Even though we are a new paradigm church, we are really the old paradigm church. Because the way that church is done and the approach and the attitude toward church that you see church life doing, that's not really what Jesus commissioned. And it is important that we understand this. Now, I'm not criticizing any church. I'm not criticizing what we do either. We do what has been handed down to us. And we do it the way that it has been handed down to us. We were born into churches where we understood that our gathering together was to have 2 songs and have announcements and have offering and have a message and sometimes a choir and a whole set of other things and try to fit it into 45 minutes to an hour and go home because you had life to live. And that was the extent of what I was offered when I was growing up. So that's the way that we did church. What we want to look at is what Jesus did. If we are doing other things and those things are leading to the outcome that Jesus expects, it is okay. But if those things are not leading to the outcome that Jesus expects or that Jesus commands, then we have a problem. And this is what the Lord was saying to me when we started Final Thrust, a new paradigm church. The Lord said that we were to be a new paradigm church that will serve other churches by mobilizing, motivating, equipping, and activating believers to make a final thrust into the end time harvest. The harvest today is very different to what it was back then. The harvest is so ripe that it's bad. I don't know if you've ever been past a harvest of cabbage that was overripe. You ever passed by a field of cabbage that was overripe? It is the worst thing that you can smell. The harvest today is so overripe that we have to put up burglar bars to keep out the harvest out of our homes and out of our churches. The harvest is so ripe that we're afraid to walk the streets. I remember when I was a boy, you didn't even lock your doors. Our home, at least my father's home, and when I spent time there, you know the story, but it was in a cul-de-sac. And if people had to get to the other side of the village, they would have to walk all the way down a long street and walk all around. So I would be sleeping in the night, and I would hear the door open, and I would peep. And people will be walking, they would open the door and walk right through our house, go through the exit door, through the yard, through the paling, and out to the other street. There was nothing to fear. Nobody was going to come and take anything. But that doesn't happen today. That can't happen today. The harvest needs to be reaped. Jesus said that it would get really bad when we come close to the end of the age.